Dr. Jake Morrison looked out the window of Zephyr Station and saw stars everywhere. The station floated in space near a planet called Kepler 442c. Jake worked as a scientist who studied alien life forms. He had been waiting for this day for 3 years. Today, the Vorthak were coming to meet humans for the first time. Jake walked through the metal halls of the station. His boots made soft sounds on the floor. Other humans were getting ready too. Everyone felt nervous and excited at the same time. They had never met aliens before. The Vorthak lived on the planet below. They looked like giant wolves that walked on 2 legs. They had sharp teeth, long claws, and thick scales on their skin. The scales looked like metal armor. Most humans were scared of them, but Jake thought they were amazing. Commander Lisa Hayes came up to Jake. She led the team that would talk to the aliens. Lisa looked worried. "Are you ready for this, Jake?" she asked. "Yes," Jake said. "I have been studying their language for months." "I think I can talk to them," Lisa nodded. "Good, we need this to go well. If the Vorthak become our friends, it could help humans a lot. But if they become our enemies," and she did not finish the sentence. Jake knew what she meant. The Vorthak were strong fighters. Their whole society was built around hunting and fighting. If they wanted to hurt humans, they could do a lot of damage. The alarm rang through the station. A voice spoke over the speakers. "Attention all crew. The Vorthak ship is coming close. All people go to your places now." Jake went to the meeting room. It was the biggest room on the station. The walls were white and clean. A long table sat in the middle. Chairs for humans were on one side. Special chairs for the Vorthak were on the other side. More humans came into the room. There was Pete Collins, who fixed machines on the station. There was Amy Clark, who helped with communications. There was Dr. Ben Parker, who studied alien cultures. Everyone looked nervous but tried to act brave. The station shook a little. The Vorthak ship was connecting to their station. Jake felt his heart beat faster. This was really happening. The door opened with a hissing sound. 3 Vorthak walked in. Jake had seen pictures before, but seeing them in real life was different. They were huge. The smallest one was 7 feet tall. Their yellow eyes looked around the room like they were hunting. Their claws clicked on the floor as they walked. The leader was an old Vorthak with gray fur and many scars. His name was Elder Thrax. Behind him walked a female Vorthak with dark fur. Her name was Huntress Vex. The third one was younger than the others. His fur was brown and he looked curious about everything. His name was Krex. Elder Thrax spoke in his own language. His voice sounded like a growl. Then he tried to speak in English. "Humans," he said slowly. "We come to see if you are worth knowing." Commander Lisa stood up. "Welcome to our station, Elder Thrax. We are happy to meet you." The old Vorthak looked at her with his yellow eyes. "You are small," he said. "You have no claws, no big teeth. How do you survive?" "We survive by working together," Lisa said. "We use our minds and our tools." Elder Thrax made a sound that might have been laughing. "Working together is for weak things. Only the strong should live." Jake watched the young Vorthak named Krex. While the others talked, Krex kept looking around the room. His eyes stopped on Jake many times. Jake wondered what the young alien was thinking. The meeting went on for hours. The Vorthak asked many questions about humans. They wanted to know how humans fought. They wanted to know what humans ate. They wanted to know how humans chose their leaders. The humans tried to explain their ways, but the Vorthak did not understand. In their world, the strongest person was always the leader. The best hunter got the most food. Fighting was how they solved problems. "Your ways are strange," Elder Thrax said. "You share food with weak ones. You help old ones who cannot hunt. You let females fight like males. This makes no sense." "It makes us stronger as a group," Jake said. This was the first time he had spoken. All the Vorthak looked at him. Krex tilted his head like a dog hearing a new sound. "How can helping weak ones make you strong?" "Because everyone has different skills," Jake explained. "An old person might know things that help everyone. A person who cannot fight might be good at making tools. When we all work together, we can do more than any one person alone." The young Vorthak looked interested, but Elder Thrax made a growling sound. "This is foolish talk," the old Vorthak said. "In nature, only the strong live." "That is the way of all things, maybe," Jake said. "But humans have a different way." The meeting ended after many more hours. The Vorthak went back to their ship. The humans stayed in the meeting room to talk. "I do not think this went well," Lisa said. "They think we are weak." "Maybe that is good," Pete said. If they think we are weak, they will not see us as a threat. Or they will think we are easy to defeat, Amy said. Jake was quiet. He kept thinking about the young Vorthak named Krex. The alien had seemed very interested in learning about humans. Maybe there was hope after all. That night, Jake could not sleep. He went to the observation deck to look at the stars. The Vorthak ship was still connected to the station. Tomorrow they would have more meetings. Jake hoped they could find a way to understand each other. He did not know that Krex was awake too, thinking about the strange, soft creatures called humans. 3 days passed since the first meeting. The talks between humans and Vorthak were not going well. Elder Thrax kept saying humans were too weak to be good friends. He said weak friends could not help in a fight. Jake spent his time trying to learn more about the Vorthak. He watched how they moved. He listened to how they talked. He wanted to understand them better. The young Vorthak named Krex seemed to want the same thing. He asked Jake many questions about humans. He wanted to know how humans lived. He wanted to know what humans ate. He wanted to know how humans had babies. Your teeth are so small, Krex said one day. How do you eat meat? We cook our meat first, Jake explained. Cooking makes it soft and easy to eat. Krex looked confused. Why not just bite and tear like normal? We learned to use fire a long time ago, Jake said. It changed how we eat and live. Krex seemed very interested in this. He asked more questions about fire and cooking and tools. Jake was happy to answer. It was nice to talk to someone who really wanted to learn. On the third day, Jake was alone in the observation deck. This was a big room with windows that showed space and stars. He liked to come here to think. The view was beautiful and peaceful. He heard footsteps behind him. Jake turned around and saw Krex walking toward him. The young Vorthak moved quietly like he was hunting, but his yellow eyes looked friendly. Hello, Krex, Jake said. Do you like the view? Krex came to stand next to Jake at the window. Yes, he said. Space is big. Makes me feel small. They stood together looking at the stars. Jake felt happy that they could be friends even though they were so different. Jake, Krex said, I want to understand humans better. Can you teach me? Of course, Jake said. What do you want to know? Krex was quiet for a moment. Then he said, In my culture, we play fight to become friends. It shows trust. It shows we like each other. Do humans do this too? Jake thought about this. Humans did play fight sometimes, but not like the Vorthak probably did. We play, but not the same way you do. We are not as strong as you are. But how do you show friendship? How do you show trust? We talk, Jake said. We share food. We help each other. We spend time together like we are doing now. Krex looked confused again, but that seems so gentle. In my pack, if someone wants to be my friend, we wrestle. We bite and scratch, but not to hurt. Just to play. It shows we trust each other not to really hurt us. Jake nodded. He was starting to understand. Like how young wolves play together, yes. Krex said, excited that Jake understood. Exactly like that. Krex looked at Jake with his bright yellow eyes. I want to play with you, Jake. I want to show that I trust you and like you. But I'm worried I might hurt you by accident. Jake felt touched that Krex wanted to be his friend. He also felt a little scared. Krex was much bigger and stronger than him. Those claws and teeth could really hurt him. But Jake could see that Krex really wanted to connect with him. Okay, Jake said, but we have to be very careful. You are much stronger than me. Krex's eyes lit up with happiness. Yes, I will be very careful. This is how young Vorthak become friends. Krex moved back a few steps. He crouched down low like a cat getting ready to pounce. His tail moved back and forth. Jake could see that this was play behavior, not real fighting. Are you ready? Krex asked. Jake took a deep breath. Yes. Krex jumped forward, but not as fast as he could have. He was being careful, like he promised. He tackled Jake gently, and they both fell to the floor. Krex was heavy, but he held most of his weight off Jake. They wrestled on the floor. Krex was very gentle for such a big creature. He would grab Jake's arms with his hands, but his claws stayed pulled back so they would not cut. Jake tried to push back, but Krex was much stronger. After a few minutes, Krex stopped wrestling. He sat back and looked at Jake. This is good, he said. You are not as weak as I thought. You keep trying even when you cannot win. Jake sat up and smiled. In human culture, we say it is not about winning or losing. It is about trying your best. Krex tilted his head. Strange idea. But I think I like it. Then Krex did something that surprised Jake. He opened his mouth and moved toward Jake's arm. Jake realized that Krex wanted to bite him, the way young animals bite each other when they play. Jake's first thought was to pull away. Krex's teeth were huge and sharp. They could easily cut through his skin. But then he remembered what Krex had said about trust. This was Krex's way of showing friendship. Jake held still and let Krex put his mouth around his arm. He felt the sharp teeth touch his skin. Krex bit down gently, the way a dog might hold something in its mouth without biting hard. But then something strange happened. Krex bit a little harder, expecting to feel Jake's skin break under his teeth. This was normal when Vorthak played together. But Jake's skin did not break. Krex let go quickly and looked at Jake's arm with surprise. There were marks from his teeth, but no cuts, no blood. The skin was red where he had bitten, but it was not broken. How? Krex asked, touching Jake's arm with one finger. Your skin should be torn. My teeth are very sharp. Jake looked at his arm, too. He was surprised as well. He knew human skin was tougher than it looked, but he had never tested it against alien teeth before. Human skin is stronger than it looks, Jake said. We evolved on a dangerous planet. Our skin had to be tough to protect us. Krex looked amazed. He touched Jake's arm again, very gently. You look so soft and weak. But you are not weak at all, are you? Jake smiled. Looks can be fooling. Humans are tougher than we appear. Krex sat back and stared at Jake with new respect in his yellow eyes. I think I am beginning to understand humans better, he said. You are not what you seem to be. Jake nodded. That is true for most things in the universe, I think. They sat together on the floor of the observation deck looking out at the stars. Jake felt like they had become real friends, and he wondered if this simple moment might change how the Vorthak saw all humans. Krex was thinking the same thing. He had learned something very important today. These soft-looking humans were much stronger than anyone thought. Word spread quickly through the station about what happened between Jake and Krex. Some humans thought Jake was crazy for letting an alien bite him. Others thought he was brave. But everyone was talking about it. When Elder Thrax heard the story, he did not believe it. He called Jake and Krex to meet with him in the main conference room. Huntress Vex was there too, along with Commander Lisa and Dr. Ben Parker. Show me, Elder Thrax said to Jake. His yellow eyes looked angry. Krex says your skin did not break when he bit you. This cannot be true. Jake looked at Lisa. She nodded, meaning it was okay to show them. Jake rolled up his sleeve and held out his arm. Be careful, Krex, Jake said. But show him what happened. Krex looked nervous. He did not want to hurt his new friend. But he also wanted to show his elder that humans were stronger than they looked. Krex opened his mouth and bit down on Jake's arm, just like before. His sharp teeth pressed into the skin. He bit harder than last time, but still tried to be careful. The teeth left deep marks in Jake's skin. The skin turned red and purple, but it did not break. No blood came out. Elder Thrax stared with his mouth open. Huntress Vex made a surprised sound. Even the humans looked amazed. Krex let go and stepped back. See, he said to his elder. The human skin is very strong. Elder Thrax came closer to look at Jake's arm. He touched the marks with one claw very gently. This should not be possible, he said. Krex's teeth can cut through metal. Not all metals, Jake said. And human skin is different than you think. Dr. Ben Parker stepped forward. He had been studying alien biology. Elder Thrax, would you like to learn more about human bodies? We could show you some tests. The old Vorthak looked interested but suspicious. What kind of tests? Safe tests, Lisa said quickly. We could show you how strong humans really are. Elder Thrax thought about this. Yes, he said finally. I want to see more. They went to the station's gym. It was a big room with exercise equipment and soft mats on the floor. Pete Collins and Amy Clark came to watch too. Everyone was curious about what would happen. Jake stood in the middle of the room. What would you like to see first? He asked. Krex raised his hand like a student in school. Can I try to scratch you with my claws? Jake nodded. He held out his arm again. Krex extended one claw and drew it across Jake's skin. The claw was sharp as a knife, but it only left a red line. The skin did not open. Amazing, Huntress Vex said. How is this possible? Human skin has many layers, Dr. Parker explained. It is designed to protect us from cuts and tears. What else can you do? Elder Thrax asked. Amy Clark stepped forward. Watch this, she said. She bent her arm backward at the elbow in a way that made the Vorthak gasp. Then she bent her fingers backward until they almost touched her hand. Human joints are very flexible, she explained. We can move in ways that would break your bones. Pete Collins showed them how he could hold his breath for 3 minutes. The Vorthak could only hold their breath for 30 seconds. Humans can survive without air much longer than you, Pete said. Our bodies are good at using oxygen. Jake showed them how he could run for an hour without stopping. The Vorthak were fast, but they got tired quickly. They were built for short bursts of speed, not long runs. On our home planet, Jake explained as he jogged in place, humans used to hunt by chasing animals until the animals got too tired to run anymore. We would follow them for days if we had to. Elder Thrax looked shocked. You hunted by never giving up? That is right, Jake said. We are not the fastest or strongest hunters. But we never stop, Huntress Vex asked. What about pain? Are you tough against pain too? Dr. Parker showed them a video on his computer. It showed a human man who had lost his leg in an accident. But the man had learned to walk again with a fake leg. He even ran in races. Humans can survive injuries that would kill most creatures, Dr. Parker said. We heal from almost anything. The Vorthak watched more videos. They saw humans living in hot deserts where the temperature was 120 degrees. They saw humans living in cold places where it was 40 degrees below zero. They saw humans climbing tall mountains where there was almost no air to breathe. Your planet must be very dangerous, Krex said. It is, Jake agreed. That is why we had to become tough. Our planet has big storms, earthquakes, floods, and fires. Animals that wanted to eat us. Diseases that could kill us. We survived by being harder to kill than anything else. Elder Thrax was quiet for a long time. He walked around the room thinking. Finally he spoke. I have been wrong about humans, he said. I thought you were weak because you look soft and have no claws. But you are not weak. You are a different kind of strong. Yes, Jake said. Every species finds their own way to be strong. Vorthak are strong with claws and teeth, Huntress Vex said. Humans are strong by never giving up. Krex looked excited. This is why you work together. You help each other survive because you know surviving is hard. Exactly, Lisa said. We learned that helping each other makes everyone stronger. Elder Thrax nodded slowly. Perhaps there is wisdom in your ways after all. They spent the rest of the day learning about each other. The Vorthak showed the humans how they hunted and fought. The humans showed the Vorthak their tools and machines. By the end of the day, both groups understood each other much better. The Vorthak learned that humans were not weak, just different. The humans learned that the Vorthak were not just violent, but had their own honor and rules. As they prepared to go back to their ships, Elder Thrax spoke to Jake. You have taught me something important today, he said. Strength comes in many forms. I was foolish to think there was only one way to be strong. Jake smiled. And you taught me that being different does not mean we cannot be friends. Krex came up to them. Can I stay and learn more about humans? He asked Elder Thrax. The old Vorthak looked at Jake. Would you teach him? I would be happy to, Jake said. As the Vorthak prepared to leave, they looked at the humans with new respect. These soft creatures were much more than they seemed. They were survivors just like the Vorthak, but in their own special way. 1 week later, everything changed. Jake was working in his lab with Krex when alarms started ringing throughout the station. Red lights flashed on the walls. The computer voice spoke loudly. Warning, solar storm approaching. All crew report to safe areas immediately. Jake and Krex ran to the control room. Commander Lisa was there with Pete Collins and Dr. Parker. They all looked worried as they stared at the computer screens. How bad is it? Jake asked. Very bad, Lisa said. The biggest solar storm we have seen in 10 years. It will hit us in 2 hours. What does this mean? Krex asked. He had never seen a solar storm before. Pete pointed at the screen. The sun is shooting out dangerous radiation. It can kill living things and break machines. The station has shields to protect us, Lisa explained. But this storm might be too strong for them. Elder Thrax and Huntress Vex came running into the control room. They had heard the alarms too. What is happening? Elder Thrax demanded. Solar storm, Jake said. Very dangerous radiation coming from the sun. The old Vorthak looked confused. Radiation? What is this? Dr. Parker tried to explain. It is like invisible fire that burns you from inside. It can make you sick or kill you. Huntress Vex looked scared. How do we stop it? We cannot stop it, Lisa said. We can only hide from it and hope our shields hold. For the next hour, everyone prepared for the storm. The Vorthak went to the strongest part of the station, where the shields were thickest. Most of the humans went there too, but Jake and Pete had to stay in the dangerous areas. They needed to watch the machines and fix them if they broke. The shields needed constant care during a storm this big. "Jake, you should come with us," Craig said. "It is not safe here." "Someone has to take care of the station," Jake replied. "If the machines break, we all die, but the radiation will hurt you." Jake smiled at his friend. "I will be careful. Humans are tough, remember?" The storm hit exactly when the computer said it would. The whole station shook as waves of radiation crashed against the shields. The lights flickered. Some machines stopped working. Jake and Pete ran through the halls fixing broken things. They wore special suits that helped protect them from radiation, but the suits were not perfect. Some radiation still got through. Krex watched from the safe area. He could see Jake on the security cameras. His human friend was working in areas that would kill any Vorthak in minutes. But Jake kept working like nothing was wrong. How is he doing that? Krex asked Elder Thrax. "I do not know," the old Vorthak replied. "We would be dead already." The storm got worse. More machines broke. The main power started to fail. If they lost power, the shields would stop working and everyone would die. "The main power coupling is broken." Pete's voice came over the radio. "Someone needs to fix it manually." "Where is it?" Lisa asked. "In the maintenance shaft under Section C. But that area has no shields at all. The radiation there would kill anyone in seconds." Everyone was quiet. They all knew what this meant. Section C was where the radiation was strongest. No one could survive there long enough to fix the power. "I will go," Jake said over the radio. "No!" Lisa shouted. "Jake, that is suicide." "Maybe," Jake said. "But if I do not try, we all die anyway." Krex jumped up. "I am going with him." "You cannot," Elder Thrax said, grabbing Krex's arm. "The radiation will kill you before you take 10 steps. "Then how can Jake survive it?" Elder Thrax was quiet. He did not know. On the security cameras, they watched Jake take off his radiation suit. The suit was too big to fit in the maintenance shaft. He would have to go in with no protection at all. "Jake, do not do this." Amy's voice came over the radio. "Please, I have to," Jake said. "Trust me, I can do this." Jake opened the hatch to the maintenance shaft. Steam poured out hot enough to cook meat. The radiation levels were so high that the cameras could not show a clear picture. Jake crawled into the shaft. Krex watched the fuzzy camera feed with his heart pounding. He could barely see Jake moving through the hot steam and radiation. Every few seconds, Jake would stop and rest, but then he would keep going. "This is impossible," Huntress Vex whispered. "Nothing can live in that much radiation." "Humans can," Elder Thrax said quietly. "For a little while." Minutes passed like hours. Jake crawled deeper into the shaft toward the broken power coupling. The radiation was so strong now that it was burning his skin. His hands were blistering from the hot metal. Finally, Jake reached the broken coupling. Through the bad camera picture, they could see him working with tools. His movements were slow and careful even though he was in terrible pain. "Almost got it," Jake said over the radio. His voice sounded weak. Sparks flew as Jake connected the power cables. The lights in the station got brighter. The shields got stronger. He had done it, but Jake did not move. He lay still in the shaft. "Jake!" Lisa called over the radio. "Jake, answer me." "Nothing, I'm going after him," Krex said. He started toward the door, but Elder Thrax stopped him. "You will die before you reach him," the old Vorthak said sadly. They waited. The storm was ending, but the radiation was still too strong for anyone except humans. Pete was the only one who could go into Section C, but he was on the other side of the station. Finally, after what felt like forever, Jake moved. Slowly, he began crawling back through the shaft. Every movement looked painful, but he kept going. When Jake finally came out of the shaft, his skin was red and burned. His hair was falling out. He could barely stand. But he was alive. Pete ran to help him. They got Jake to the medical bay, where Dr. Parker gave him medicine for radiation sickness. Krex stayed by Jake's side. "Why did you do that?" he asked. "You almost died." Jake's voice was weak, but he smiled. "Because that is what humans do. We do not give up even when things look hopeless. But you could have died." "Yes," Jake agreed. "But if I had not tried, we all would have died for sure. Sometimes you have to take risks to protect the people you care about." Elder Thrax came into the medical bay. He looked at Jake lying on the bed, burned and weak but still alive. "No Vorthak could have done what you did," he said quietly. "We would have died in that radiation long before reaching the power coupling." "Every species has different strengths," Jake said. "Yes," Elder Thrax nodded. "But your strength is very special. You do not just survive. You survive impossible things." The old Vorthak turned to Krex. "Now I understand why humans work together. When you can survive anything, you want to make sure others survive too." Krex looked at his human friend with new eyes. Jake looked weak and soft lying in the medical bed. But Krex had learned that looks could be very fooling. Inside that soft body was something harder than any claw or fang. It was the refusal to give up no matter what. Jake spent 3 days in the medical bay recovering from the radiation. His skin was still red and sore, but he was getting better. Human bodies were good at healing from damage that would kill most other species. Krex visited him every day. The young Vorthak brought Jake food and water. He also brought news about what was happening on the station. "Elder Thrax has been talking to the other Vorthak leaders on our home planet," Krex told Jake. "He is telling them about what you did during the storm." "What is he saying?" Jake asked. "He is telling them that humans are not weak. He says humans are the strongest species he has ever met." Jake looked surprised. "Really? But we do not have claws or big teeth like you do." "That does not matter anymore," Krex said. "Elder Thrax says true strength is not about having sharp teeth. True strength is about never giving up, even when everything seems hopeless." On the 4th day, Jake felt well enough to leave the medical bay. When he walked into the main conference room, he found all the Vorthak waiting for him. Elder Thrax, Huntress Vex, and Krex were there. But there were also 3 new Vorthak that Jake had never seen before. "Jake," Elder Thrax said, standing up, "I want you to meet some important people from my world." The new Vorthak looked at Jake with curious eyes. They seemed surprised that such a small, soft-looking creature could be so famous. "This is War Leader Brack," Elder Thrax said, pointing to a huge Vorthak with black fur and many battle scars. "This is High Huntress Zara," he said, pointing to a female Vorthak with silver fur. "And this is Elder Korvek, who leads our entire planet." Jake bowed politely. "I am honored to meet you." Elder Korvek stepped forward. He was very old, with white fur and wise yellow eyes. "Human Jake," he said in careful English. "Elder Thrax has told us amazing stories about you and your people. We have come to see if these stories are true." "What stories?" Jake asked. War Leader Brack spoke up. "He says you survived in radiation that would kill us instantly. He says your skin cannot be cut by our sharpest teeth. He says humans never give up, no matter how hopeless things become." "These things are true," Jake said simply. High Huntress Zara walked around Jake, looking at him from all sides. "You look so weak," she said. "How can such a small creature be so strong?" Jake smiled. "Would you like me to show you?" For the next hour, Jake demonstrated human abilities just like he had done with Elder Thrax. He let War Leader Brack try to scratch him with claws that could cut through steel. The claws left marks but did not break his skin. He showed them how flexible human joints were. He held his breath for 5 minutes while the Vorthak gasped in amazement. He ran on the exercise machine for 2 hours without stopping. "This is incredible," Elder Korvek said. "Your bodies are like living armor." Commander Lisa joined them and showed videos of humans surviving in impossible places. She showed them pictures of people who had lived through terrible accidents and healed completely. She showed them records of humans surviving diseases that killed every other species that caught them. "On our planet," Lisa explained, "almost everything tried to kill us. Dangerous animals, deadly weather, poisonous plants, terrible diseases. We survived by becoming too tough to kill." War Leader Brack looked impressed. "You are warriors, but not the kind we expected." "We fight by surviving," Jake said. "We win by never giving up." Elder Korvek was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "In our culture, we have a special name for warriors who cannot be defeated. We call them Keth Vorthak. It means unbreakable ones. This is the highest honor we can give." He looked directly at Jake. "Human Jake, I name you Keth Vorthak. You are unbreakable." Jake felt honored but confused. "Thank you, but I am not unbreakable. I can be hurt. I can be killed." "No," Elder Korvek said. "You do not understand. Keth Vorthak does not mean your body cannot break. It means your spirit cannot break. You will keep fighting no matter what happens to you." "That is true," Jake agreed. Elder Korvek turned to address everyone in the room. I declare that all humans are Keth Vorthak. They are unbreakable ones. They have earned our highest respect. The other Vorthak made sounds of agreement. This was a great honor. In thousands of years, only a few non-Vorthak had ever been called unbreakable. What does this mean for our two species? Commander Lisa asked. It means we want to be your allies, High Huntress Zara said. Strong people should be friends with other strong people. We can learn from each other, War Leader Brack added. You can teach us about surviving impossible things. We can teach you about hunting and fighting, Elder Thrax spoke up. I have a request. Can Krex stay here to study humans? He wants to learn more about your ways. Jake looked at his young friend. Krex, do you really want to stay? Yes, Krex said excitedly. I want to learn everything about humans. You are the most interesting species I have ever met. Then you can stay, Commander Lisa said. We would be happy to have you. Over the next few weeks, more Vorthak ships came to the station. They brought scientists and diplomats who wanted to study humans. They also brought gifts of friendship. Krex became Jake's official assistant. He helped with research and learned about human culture. Every day he discovered something new and amazing about his soft but unbreakable friends. Jake, Krex said one day as they worked in the lab, can I still bite you sometimes? I know it does not hurt you and it makes me feel close to you. Jake laughed. Of course. That is how we became friends in the first place. Krex gently bit Jake's arm, just like that first day. The skin still did not break. But now Krex understood that this was not magic. It was just another example of how amazing humans were. You know what I like most about humans? Krex asked. What? You taught me that being strong is not about hurting others. Being strong is about protecting others even when it costs you everything. Jake nodded. That is what we learned on our dangerous planet. The only way to survive was to help each other survive. Word spread across the galaxy about the amazing humans and their friendship with the Vorthak. Other alien species wanted to meet these unbreakable ones who looked weak, but were stronger than anyone imagined. Jake often thought about that first day when Krex had bitten him in play. Such a simple moment had changed everything between their species. It showed that sometimes the best way to prove you are strong is to let someone test your strength and discover you cannot be broken. The friendship between humans and Vorthak grew stronger every day. They explored space together, shared knowledge, and protected each other from dangers. The Vorthak learned that true strength came from never giving up. The humans learned that different kinds of strength could work together to make everyone stronger. And in his lab on Zephyr Station, Jake continued his work with Krex by his side. Sometimes when Krex was feeling playful, he would gently bite Jake's arm and marvel once again that the skin did not break. It was a small reminder of the day they learned that the universe was full of surprises, and that strength could come in forms no one expected.